Faith as little as a mustard seed. Sometimes we believe we need giant faith before God can move in our lives. We think we need perfect faith, faith with no fear, faith with no questions, faith with no doubt. But God never said we needed mountain-sized faith. He said faith as little as a mustard seed. Now think about that for a moment. A mustard seed is tiny, small enough to fit on the tip of your finger, small enough that many people could overlook it. Yet inside that tiny seed is the ability to grow into something much greater than itself. That is exactly how faith works. You may not feel strong right now. You may not have all the answers. You may not understand what God is doing. But even a small amount of faith can create a powerful outcome when it is placed in God's hands. Some of you listening today are believing for recovery. Recovery from sickness, recovery from emotional pain, recovery from heartbreak, recovery from depression, recovery from disappointment. You may have spent nights crying. You may have faced doctor reports that scared you. You may have carried emotional wounds nobody else sees. And right now you may be asking, Lord, when will things get better? But faith says, I may not see the healing yet, but I believe healing is coming. Faith says, my pain will not last forever. Faith says, God is still working, because faith changes outcomes. Some of you believe in breakthroughs. You've been praying for finances, praying for opportunities, praying for doors to open, praying for answers, praying for restoration, and maybe you've been waiting for a long time. Waiting can make people tired. Waiting can make people question God. Waiting can make people wonder if anything is changing. But faith says, I may not see movement right now, but God is moving behind the scenes. Because sometimes God is working in places you cannot see. Sometimes God is preparing people, preparing opportunities, preparing blessings, preparing doors that are getting ready to open. Some of you are also praying for spiritual awareness. You want to hear God's voice more clearly. You want wisdom. You want understanding. You want peace. You want to walk closer with God. Faith says, Lord, open my eyes so I can see what you are doing. Now think about the stories in the Bible. Think about the woman with the issue of blood. For 12 years she suffered. For 12 years she carried pain. People may have believed her situation would never change. But she said, if I can only touch his garment, I shall be made whole. She did not have perfect circumstances. She simply had faith, and faith changed her outcome. Think about David standing before Goliath. Everyone else saw a giant. Everyone else saw defeat. Everyone else saw danger. But David saw God. David believed that the God who protected him before would protect him again. That was faith. Think about Peter stepping out onto the water. Logic said, stay in the boat. Fear said, stay in the boat. Doubt said, stay in the boat. But faith said, take the step. And sometimes God is asking you to take a step too. A step toward healing. A step toward recovery. A step toward breakthrough. A step toward spiritual growth. A step toward trusting Him more. So today remember this. Do not underestimate small faith. Because a small faith placed in a big God can change your life. Small faith can lead to recovery. Small faith can lead to breakthroughs. Small faith can strengthen your spirit. Small faith can move mountains. Remember this Bible verse, if ye have faith as a grain of mustard seed, nothing shall be impossible unto you. Matthew 17, verse 20. Like, share, follow, and subscribe for more motivational content like this.